This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories.
And welcome to my review of the Jabba's Sail Barge related sets. And with this, none of these are fully complete sets. The closest I have is the Desert Skiff over here, where I don't have the completed Sarlacc to that. I have most of it. But I'm not going to show that off because I wanted to show off this Sarlacc pit, which I think is the better one. So, with it, I'll be taking a look at the figures I have related to the Sail Barge sets. Besides one of the Boba Fett's that would have came with this Sarlacc pit, because I need to have two Boba Fett's in this review, and I've showed that one off before in the Slave 1 review from last year. Or it might have been earlier this year. I don't remember exactly. But with it, we'll take a look at the more heroic characters first. Starting off with Han Solo in his Desert Skiff outfit. He has a pair of handcuffs. I gave him a blaster pistol, although I'm not sure if he had it in the set, but it was in this little compartment. So I wasn't sure if it was put away in there or not. And with him, he has handcuffs on, which are part of him. There's also supposed to be on Chewbacca, but I don't know where another pair of handcuffs are, so I didn't put it on him. There's some pretty simple back printing. He's supposed to have the newer Han Solo hairpiece, but I switched that out for my more classic Han Solo minifigure so he could have it. The backside of his head has a print with his eyes closed, and the front side has just a little more nervous expression. He's a cool figure to have. Looking at the second figure, we have Lando Calrissian in his Desert Skiff Guard disguise. And with this, I typically just keep another head on him because I don't have a regular Lando minifigure from the original trilogy, so I use this head to make basically a custom Lando from that time period. But with him, I put it back on just for this review, so this is where I got the figure's head from. He has a pretty simple torso design. He has a smile on one side of his head, nothing really on the back side. Here's what the back of the helmet looks like. He has this little spear axe design, and yeah, he's a cool figure to have. Pretty simple, but just a cool one to have, and it's what I basically use for, as I said, my replacement Lando until I can eventually find a set that has one. And then the last one was the A-Wing and Cloud City, neither of which I didn't want to buy the A-Wing since I already had one, and the Cloud City was just too expensive for me to buy. We now have Chewbacca. He has his stud shooter bowcaster, which is one of the few stud shooters that actually looks good. The other ones look pretty bad. Besides, the newer ones look decent, but this one looks good. He looks the same as basically every other Chewbacca figure of the more modern day. And taking him off, let's take a look at Luke Skywalker. And Luke, and here Luke, Lando, and this guy all came with this Sarlacc pit and the Desert Skiff, which I originally did have, but it was destroyed over the years. And this Luke has his green lightsaber. He has the simple robes for Jabba's palace, and he has a smile on one side, basic opening in the back, and a more angry expression on the back. This figure came in two sets, this Sarlacc pit and the Rancor pit. And this is one from the Rancor pit one, because although I do still have this figure, his torso was cracked. I didn't want to use that one. I wanted to use one that was not broken. But if you don't have this Luke, you could probably use the one from the Death Trooper set, since he has a similar robe and design to this one compared to his later appearances in Return of the Jedi, where he has the different type of uniform on. And finally, of the minifigures not counting R2, we have Slave Leia. This is actually what I got from a magnet set a while ago, and I still have it. And with her, she has pretty basic printing for her legs and for her torso, since this is from the original Sail Barge, which was back, I think, like 2006 or 8. The back part doesn't have much printing at all, since it's old. The only thing that's really a different color is this piece, since it was used to hold in the middle. She also has this little chain, which I added on, since the original figure with the magnet wouldn't have had that. She does not have back head printing, but if you do have this figure or want to get it, if you have one of these sets, because the slave Leia from this is like $60, you could take a Leia head and one of these hair pieces. I don't know what this is from. I think it was from like some Lego City figure and I saw it. But you can put it on, but you have to have the hair at a slight angle so it doesn't mess with the chain. Because the slave Leia piece, hair piece, was originally designed to go around it. And with it, one of my brothers, I think, bought like a knockoff at like some convention. I have it over here, so you could see what it looks like. But I don't want to show it off since it's not an official Lego. And with it, as you can see, the hairpiece was designed to go around the chain, which would have been here. This would have been the figure that came with it. I just want a quick look because the printing isn't terrible on it. This is what she would have looked like. But this is not an official Lego figure. It was a knockoff one of my brothers bought and I just randomly found. And finally, looking at our last figure, we have, for the heroes at least, R2-D2. And as I said before, he will not fit on this because I have these as just flat bricks. And he won't fit on that, so I just use one of these. And with him, he has some pretty simple design. He's not as complex or even in the right shades as the newer R2s are. But he still looks cool. He has this cool little drink tray attached to him, which is really the only unique thing about this R2-D2. And you can technically use to remake on really any R2 as long as you have some drinks and other stuff for him. But yeah, that's the look at the ones that would be on the more heroic side. And turning around, although I don't have as much, I have the ones that would be on Jabba's side, including Jabba himself, which I got with the sail barge. And that was a really nice thing to have. So looking at them, we first have this Weequay, which came with this Sarlacc pit, and he's relatively simple. He's supposed to have like a red bandana on his head, I think, but I didn't have that piece anymore. I lost it over the years. So he still looks good like this. I think it actually looks a little better. And I gave him a blaster rifle because I don't really remember what the figure originally looked like, or which weapon he had. I think he may have had a blaster pistol, but yeah. And then I have this Weequay. He has the same spear axe weapon as Lando. He has a lot better printing since he's from this Desert Skiff. He still looks pretty good though. And then I have the Boba Fett from this Desert Skiff. As I said, I showed off the other one in my review of the Slave 1 set. It was either earlier this year or like later last year. And the printing is really good on him. He has the angry clone face, which is a disappointment. Although they have made a great Boba Fett face now for him to have, which is really awesome to own. And then finally, I'm not even going to pretend like I'm going to put Jabba on this. We have Jabba the Hutt. And as you can see, I had to put this little minifigure stand under him because he can't easily clip onto these Lego bricks without it. He needs something to elevate him up slightly so he could go on, just so this base could fit on. There's a little more unique like that. And I did have a knockoff version of this, which someone got, I don't remember who. I may have got since the Jabba figure was extremely expensive, and I thought there was never going to be a chance of me getting him in the immediate future at that point, since I was a lot younger. But now I have an official one, and it's really cool to have. He has some pretty simple moving abilities. He can move his arms up and down. As you can see out here, there's the Lego logo, which you can't really read right now. He has pretty simple back design, and this is what he would look like moving forward. Although he's technically not supposed to be like this, you could have him like this. It's supposed to be his back. That's what it would look like going forward from the backside. But he'll be in the most typical pose like this, where he's just sitting and watching over everything. And with it, you can put him down over here. And I'm going to move the figures to the side for now. And I'm going to show off the Desert Skiff, Sarlacc Pit, and then the Sail Barge. And I'll put some of the figures on just so you can see what they look like on there. So just putting those to the side, we'll take a look at the Sarlacc Pit first. And the Sarlacc Pit is definitely my favorite version of it. It has the big beak popping out to eat figures and can fully fit not just one, but if you want to, multiple figures. And I also have some skeleton parts laying around there. I don't think it was supposed to be there. I'm going to grab this knockoff Slave Leia, battle damage Darth Vader, and we'll grab Cad Bane. And you can see how you can sort of fit them in there. Cad Bane kind of pops out in the middle, but you could comfortably fit two figures in there for them to be eaten alive by the Sarlacc. And maybe Cad Bane's hat that was popping in the way. I'm not fully sure, so I'll grab this 3PO and we'll see how he fits in, or if it's just a general thing. So yeah, you could fit 3 figures in there as long as you have no big headgear on them, which is cool, but I'll take them out. I just wanted to show that off. It has some impressive details, like rows of teeth around it. It has 2 tentacles popping out. It looks really cool. Closing it, looking at the bottom, it just has a pretty basic desert design as a base plate, but it still looks cool. I'll take this and just place it to the side a little bit so I can get a look at all of them together. We then have the Desert Skiff over here, and this is the, I think, 2018 version of it. Looking at the bottom, it has a bunch of these. With it, I'm thinking of moving some of these around so I could have it floating a little higher, because if we take a look at the plank right here, which you can pop in and out from pushing around here, it's not at even level of the Sarlacc Pit, but if I raised it up, maybe another set of studs will be around here. If I had more, I could raise it a little higher, but that'll look a lot better, at least in my opinion, to having it floating a little higher, although it'll be a little high for the sail barge, so I'll probably keep it around this height. And yeah, just looking at it, I'm gonna place this to the side. We look at it, it has these 2 little guiding things. I don't know what they're called, skis, I think. There's little like skis at the side that you can position around in a bunch of different positions with these attachments. But I'll just keep it in this more traditional position, which will look like in, Star Wars. You have this little compartment here, which a blaster pistol was in, although, as I said, I took it out just to give it to Han. Closing it back up, you can see that Over here we have a build that holds this little piece in. You can pop this off, although I don't think you're supposed to. And I think that's just more for the detail of it. You have this cool little rim design at the back. These little guards here. And yeah, this set looks really nice overall. It's a cool little skiff to have, and there's also this really nice thing when it's popping out of the back a little, which you'll see a similar design on when I get to the sail barge. So now I'm going to move these off to the side again, and then after I look at that, I'll give a quick cut where I'll show what will look like with figures on it. So I'm placing these just behind me, and I'll move Jabba's sail barge up. And I'll pan up after I look at the sail barge's sides and to go and look at the main build of the top. Since you can kind of see it, but it's cut off a little bit from here. I can see through the camera. So the first thing is these little sides can be popped off just to the side. And you can sort of see in there. I'm moving over just a little so you could see it a little more to the side, but I'll look at the back side a little more when I'm back there. And with it, it has little ammo here for a cannon that's hidden in here. We have cell bars over here, and we have an open area over here. This is just mainly meant for people to go be standing around. Over here we have the area for Jabba to sit on, and you have to position him in this little open stud right here. Looking around it, you could also go and pop off these two to have openings in the sail barge. And with that, you can have them open as much as you want, although I don't think you open them fully all the way because that doesn't look as good. It's blocked off on this side, as you'll see in a moment, but with this, you push here, and this is the only one for that side. So it can be opened. As you can see, it is blocked off by this, so I think having them up about here, I'm trying to keep them about as on level as possible. Looks good. And with it, we also have these little skis on the side, which you can pop out and move around. I don't really keep them, keeping them in just for simplicity and the fact I need to keep it in kind of a tight space. But yeah, moving it, we'll look at the front now. As the front, you can see a little bit of the sail up here. You pop this up, and there's a little cannon. You can move this forward. It doesn't have any ammo in it, but if we go over here, I can grab one of these red tube pieces and place it in. When you move it forward, you can also clip it on here, and then you can close this up to have it, as you can see, just be popping out a little bit to have a secret firing mechanism. But it's really hard to fire when it's placed in here. So if you take it, you could pull this out and push it forward, and it'll launch the stud out. Although I blacked it off so I didn't lose this piece. And with it, we'll take a look at this little cannon build. It's relatively simple, but it still looks cool, and it's a cool little hidden feature. This is what the inside looks like without it in there. And as I said, you can take it, you place it on this little stud. You can have it just popping out a little bit, like that, or you can have it popping out farther, like this, which this is probably the coolest way to do it, to have a little cannon popping out so it can fire. And whenever you want to put it back in, you can take it and slide it back in. Moving it to this side, it looks essentially the same as the other. We have this little feature here. We can take it, pop these out, as I did on the other side. Have it like that. If you also want to, you could have them only single ones popping out also, which I'll show here. So you can have it look like that. But when you close it, you want to take them and close all the little tabs so you could go and fully see the inside. And on this side, you can see the inside of this cell. You can see there's a little crate here. I'm guessing it probably would have thermal detonators in it, but those weren't inside of it. There's a little pot here. You can see the backside of where Jabba would sit. And over here, you can see a little bit of Max Rebo's drum, I think. And I just realized there was a little thing I missed over here to show, but there's also a jail cell door here which could open. As you can see the inside of the cell here, so you can put a figure in there. So I'll grab Cad Bane again, and you can just place him in there to have him imprisoned and take him out. And that's just for, you know, ease of access. Although I don't get what the point of having this window right here is, because they can just jump out of the cell, although they'll be in the middle of the Dune Sea. And with it, you can look at that. I'll move it to the back side. And over here we have Max Rebo's little, I think it's a drum set. I don't know exactly what it's called. But yeah, with it, it has a pretty simple design going around with these little studs popping out. Has a little area you can put Max Rebo in. Oh, that figure is like, I think, $60, so that's why I don't have all the figures to this. Because I don't want to go spend $60 on some figures right now. And with it, I'll just take this dancer from the Boba Fett's throne set, and so you can see what it would look like for someone to be in there. And that's where I'm keeping her, because I think she'll look a lot better there than inside of Boba Fett's throne room. And taking her there, you could go and close up this. And one last thing I wanted to show before I go to the top is, forgot to show, there's this little rack up here with a piece of meat and fish up there. And now I'm going to pan up a little bit, and we take a full look at the top of the sail barge. And with it, we have a few things. We have this little cannon here, which can be used to shoot at people on the skiffs. There is not supposed to be one on the other side, although this is a pretty simple build if you wanted to get the pieces to go and build another one on the other side. Also has this cool like design for a scope. Over here we have pretty simple front top. You could also take these and angle them so you can see this a little better. Over here we have the main turret that's used to fire on Jabba's sail barge at the end of episode, the scene in episode 6. So with it, you can just aim it down. Although it is put in a missile design, so technically you can launch this out and hit the ground, but I don't think it's intended to be launched out, and that was just how it was designed, so it could be looking like this. One thing I don't like about this is this giant exposed red Technic pin. I feel like it could have been a better design for that, although I can't really think of anything besides maybe having one of those shorter black or even red lightsaber handle pieces. But I'm not sure if that piece was introduced at this point, so that could explain that. And with it, you can position these basically to be on level. They can't be perfectly because the sails will obviously be in a little bit of a awkward position, but still, you can go around and look at it from the other sides, just so you can see what it will look like. And yeah, it looks really cool from the sides. And the builds are pretty great. And now I'm going to have a slight pause. I'm going to freeze up, and I'm going to put all the characters on so you can see what it will look like with everyone on there and a full battle, plus a few figures from Boba Fett's palace to make it look a little more complete. So I'll be right back, and you'll see that. Okay, and now looking at it, I have basically a scene set up just so you can see what it would look like figures on it, with them going and having Luke grab his lightsaber. I have him in a little bit of a jumping position using one of these from the Lego Marvel and DC minifigure series. You have this popping out here. If you want to take a look, this is what it would look like with Jabba on his seat. I have Bib Fortuna by him, and that more advanced slave lay I was telling you how to make, with the hair put to one side. Over here you can see you have the one dancer just using the music there. And up here we have some guards. If you look back there, I have a Gamorrean guard kind of hidden there. It's kind of hard to see. And I have the Quarren in the prison cell over here. Let's see if I can zoom in. So you can sort of see him there. And looking over here, it's kind of hard to see the Gamorrean. So you can see through the camera. But yeah, this is what a full, just kind of action shot would look like. And I can actually open this because I have Boba Fett attached to one of these little jumper pieces and the two little things from the Obi-Wan Kenobi set. So it could look like he's trying to fly out to go and fight them in a cool little action shot. But yeah, honestly, I think this looks pretty cool. And if I want to, honestly, I could toss a Gamorrean in the Sarlacc pit to have it a little more interesting. But this is what an action shot of it could look like. And then I'll take these two and move them to the side, just so we can take a look at what would look like with characters from the backside on there. Oh, I almost forgot to show off the bottom of this. So closing that, I kind of had to jam the Gamorrean in because he wouldn't stand normally. This would look like the prisoner in there. And I was originally going to have Bib Fortuna kind of sneaking out, but I didn't want to, and because I didn't have more of these pieces, I didn't want to just be hanging there. But as you can see, you could sort of see the mechanism I built for Boba. I'm going to be taking that out. I just wanted that for a really cool action shot. And with it, you can see what it looks like, as I said, from behind. And with it closed. And the final thing I'll show, which I almost forgot to, is the wheel system at the bottom. And it's pretty exposed, but you can just see how it could roll around, so you can move it. So yeah, I definitely would recommend getting any of these sets. I actually was able to buy this technically at retail price, although I had like half the figures missing from it, but over half of them. But so yeah, I still recommend getting the set. They're definitely cool to have, and I want to know what you think about this series of sets. This is a pretty long video. I think it's nearly half an hour. But yeah, just let me know what you think, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Legends and Theories.
Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.